Hello, good evening. Welcome to ITV News and Monday night's calendar.
Yes, a very good evening to you. Now, from Whitby to Wembley, it's been a busy few days for our region, with thousands of people flocking both to the coast and down to the capital to enjoy a celebration of community and sport.
In Whitby, the Red Arrows dazzled the crowds from the skies, while down on the water, the local rowing clubs have been battling it out for glory.
Tonight in the town, the fun fair is still going strong, while the final preparations are being made for tonight's firework display.
Yes, it's definitely been a mixed bag of weather across Whitby today, that is for sure. Cloudy skies, outbreaks of rain, but it hasn't stopped people enjoying the event or taking part in the event, and we've had a little bit of sunshine.
Meanwhile, down the M1, it's also been a huge weekend for Rugby League, with 3 of our teams at Wembley.
There could only be one winner in the 1895 Cup final, with the Halifax Panthers beating Batley in dramatic fashion.
And while the Leeds Rhinos women were beaten, it was still a momentous occasion as the first Women's Challenge Cup final ever staged at Wembley.
So yes, all that to come on the programme tonight. I hope very much you'll stay with us. But first to the news of the day, and this evening a mother whose son has been unable to go to school for more than a year has spoken of her anger and sorrow at being left in limbo over his education and his future. Rio Dunstan, who's from Sheffield, says 12-year-old Rio has been let down by the system and has had no formal access to learning in 14 months.
After Rio, who has a number of conditions, including autism and ADHD, spent 2 months in hospital last year, experts agreed his school was no longer suitable, but no alternative has yet been found. Advocates for children with special needs say they're not alone. Lisa Adlam reports.
While many children might welcome a break from lessons in the school holidays, 12-year-old Rio Dunstan just wants a chance to learn. Rio, who has a number of complex conditions, has been unable to return to school for the last year after being treated in hospital, leaving mum Jen to take on the role of teacher without, she says, any practical or financial support.
I've tried to make sure that my son has access to his core subjects, but in reality, if my son had been in school for the last year, he would have had access to the full range of subjects that are covered by legal education, and the fact is he hasn't.
Rio's absence means he hasn't had the free school meals he's entitled to, nor has provision been made to him at home through parcels or vouchers as set out in the Education Act. Sheffield-based human rights advocate Chrissy Malidi, who's been working on Rio's behalf, says it's pushing the family and many others like them to breaking point.
They're in dire trouble. Rio should be having education all the way through, so anything that he's entitled to within the school environment, he should be given that at home in terms of extra lessons, work being sent home for him, but he's been bereft of all of that. The local authority has an ultimate responsibility to ensure that the school provides that, and the school have fundamental responsibility to provide that, but have failed to do so.
We certainly feel let down. We feel that he's been failed under the Education Act, under the Children and Families Act and under the Human Rights Act. My son has a legal right to be educated just like any other child.
Sheffield City Council says it aims to make sure all students with special needs receive an education which meets their needs, with school places allocated in consultation with the child's carers, school and the council, and added, when special school places are allocated, the local authority provides funding to the school for the school place and provision. Schools are required to ensure that children eligible for free school meals are able to receive them, even if they are not, for whatever reason, attending school for a time.
I just want to learn, you know what I mean? I just want to be able to learn, but like these people, it's not easy, you know?
From September, Rio will receive 2 hours of tuition at home each week. It's progress, but for this young man and his mum, it's still not enough. Lisa Adlam, ITV News, Sheffield.
On to other news, and 2 women have been charged with murder after a 60-year-old man was attacked in Sheffield last Wednesday night. Stephen Kozicharski was seriously injured at a property on Fraser Drive in the Woodseats area of the city. He died in hospital on Friday. 35-year-old Zoe Ryder and 44-year-old Nicola Lethbridge appeared at Sheffield Magistrates Court today charged with murder and robbery. 2 men, aged 41 and 50, were also arrested on suspicion of murder and remain in police custody.
A man accused of starting a fire which caused more than £2 million worth of damage at a Michelin-starred restaurant in North Yorkshire has indicated that he will plead not guilty. The fire destroyed much of the 14th century Star Inn pub in Harham near Helmsley in November 2021. 28-year-old Charles Burkett from Helmsley appeared at Scarborough Magistrates Court today charged with arson. He was not asked to enter a plea, but his solicitor indicated he would be denying the charge.
Friends of a Thai mother whose body was found in the Yorkshire Dales have organised for Buddhist monks to hold prayers over her grave in Horton in Ribblesdale. Lamduan Armitage's body was found 19 years ago and for 15 of those years remained unidentified. Her friends say the blessing is important in Lamduan's religion.
A 20-year-old man has been charged after a serious multi-vehicle crash in Huddersfield. The driver of the black VW Golf had failed to stop for police before colliding with two other cars in the Fenay Bridge area on Friday evening. Police are appealing to find the passenger of the VW car who ran away and could be injured. Josh Boyle of Blagdon Lane has been charged with 5 offences, including aggravated vehicle taking and causing serious injury by dangerous driving.
Bidders for the collapsed retail giant Wilko, which has its headquarters in Worksop, have been given until Wednesday to submit their offers to buy the firm. The high street chain, which has dozens of stores in our region, fell into administration last week, putting its 400 shops across the UK at risk. The retailer said it was left with no choice but to enter insolvency after struggling to cope with rising costs and poor consumer demand.
The ITV Evening News continues here at 6:30. Here's a look at what's happening with Gamal Fanbulay.
Devastation in Maui, a paradise turned living nightmare. Close to 100 have been killed, with the number expected to increase significantly. Almost 1,000 people are still unaccounted for. Why proposals to scrap some wait time targets for cancer treatments are being described as deeply worrying. Caught on camera, Network Rail's warning to those risking their lives misusing level crossings. And the new generation of naturalists set to retrace the voyage of Charles Darwin 200 years on. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Gamal, thank you. Now, next tonight, to a huge event in the North Yorkshire calendar. The Whitby Regatta attracts thousands to the picturesque seaside town, and this year has been possibly the biggest ever.
It's described as a carnival on and off the water. Our cameras have been in Whitby over the weekend to capture the best of the action. And our reporter Katie Oscroft is there for us live now. And Katie, is the regatta still in full swing?
Ian, it certainly is. The boat races are complete, so that bit of hard work is out of the way. But as you can see, and perhaps here, the fairground is in full swing and there'll be fireworks there later. Now, this festival takes place on the water. It happens on dry land and in the sky, so decent weather really helps so that everything can get underway on time. But it's tradition for Regatta Monday to be a wet one. And earlier today, so it was. It rained on the fancy dress parade, but St George, the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and even the pirate didn't complain.
Regatta weather. Yeah, it is. It always rains on regatta.
Is that part of the fun?
Well, I wouldn't call it fun, but yeah.
British summer, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You've got to make the most of it though, right? Yeah?
Under bluer skies yesterday, the Red Arrows entertained crowds and crowds of people.
Looking at everything is so beautiful, seeing so many people here today and enjoying everybody's company, really.
And we haven't been to Whitby for many, many years, have we?
And we've come on a coach.
The feel.
Yes.
That's a fantastic feel here.
Yes, yeah.
And we saw people performing and the locals joining and dancing.
Whitby is one of my favourite places. I've been coming here since I was 5. So I just love it here.
We've come from Germany over here on vacation and we'll enjoy the weather down here in Whitby. And it's a very nice place. We're going to have some drink later on and some fish and chips, I guess. Yeah, obviously.
Just the atmosphere and to watch everything. So, yeah, it's really nice. Yeah? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I love it here. It's amazing. Everybody is happy. It's a good vibe here and yeah.
It's lots of fun. You see the nice things. you see nice boats.
This year has been fantastic. It's been huge for us getting the numbers in. Everything that we've put into place has gone as planned. One of the highlights is obviously going to be the Red Arrows. I think everything that we've put in place is a crowd pleaser.
The fierce rivalry on the water certainly pleases the crowds. The Reds versus the Blues, with a team from neighbouring Scarborough also allowed to take part.
Come on, Blues!
The rowing is what the regatta is all about, and back in the day, Anne was a Red.
I never lost a race.
Top rower then?
Well, I was, yes, I think so, maybe in them days, but it was, you used to get to the end of the extensions and you used to think you were going to die. You were so tired. And then as you came along here, you heard the roar of the crowd, and that just gave you more energy.
The regatta is a carnival on dry land. The motocross riders tour up the beach. A vintage Lancaster plane made the journey from RAF Coningsby thanks to this peeping out. Under blue skies and not so blue, Regatta Monday is the climax of a 3-day party. Well, I'm joined by somebody now who's probably breathing a huge sigh of relief. The president of the Whitby Regatta. Jane, what's the verdict on this year?
Very successful. 3 days, the weather up till today has behaved, but it's paid its customary visit to Whitby Regatta. It's almost a rite of passage that we get rain one day, but I think it's been a huge success.
Now, I bumped into people from Norway, from Germany, and then from Hull and Doncaster. It's a real shop window for Whitby, isn't it?
It's an absolute shop window for Whitby, but the heart of this is the community, and it is a community event. It's gone over 180 years, and very much in the planning is not only perpetuating the future, but making sure the history of the regatta stays.
Now, have you any idea? I mean, there just seems to be absolutely loads of people wherever you look. Have you any idea how many?
Well, we believe that yesterday we topped towards 50,000 for the Red Arrows, because they were lining the cliffs all the way to Sands End and beyond. Probably over the 3 days, we'd be looking towards 150 to 200,000.
Wow, those are incredible figures. Now, can you put your feet up now, Jane? Or when do you start planning for next year for something as big as this?
Probably tomorrow we quieten off a bit, but then by the following week we have a debrief when we pick up lessons learned, what went well, what could have been better, and what we will move on from, and then we start with next year.
Does it feel as though the weather in the right place, that this year was perhaps one of your best?
I think this year, particularly given the summer we've all had, it has been remarkably well behaved.
Well, that's good news, Jane. Now, I just should say that Jane is looking so magnificent on the harbour wall here tonight, because she has an awful lot of trophies to present in the Both House just along the way. She's also pressing the button for the fireworks, so I'd like everyone to think of Jane when it goes dark. And what a fitting end to the Whitby Regatta.
Fantastic weekend, Katie. Thank you very much, and you're looking great yourself too. Thank you. Well, it's all about the W's tonight, isn't it? So from Whitby to Wembley, and it was a busy weekend down there for our teams, wasn't it, Chris? Rugby League?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say I was looking great as well.
Goes without saying. Goes without saying, Chris.
Yeah, very busy day on Saturday. 3 of our teams down in the capital. Sadly, there was only one winner. Halifax beating Batley in the 1895 Cup final. But it was a momentous day nonetheless, with the first Women's Challenge Cup final ever to be staged at Wembley. It was a festival of rugby league. 58,000 fans, 3 matches, 6 teams, 1 iconic stadium. It was a weekend of Wembley firsts. The first Women's Rugby League final at this stadium, Batley's first ever visit, and Halifax's first for 35 years.
It's emotional, it's fabulous. We love our team, and we think they've done really well to get here. Yeah, we're proud of the lads.
Proud of them.
What does it mean for you guys to have Batley here at Wembley?
Batley at Wembley, wow, wow.
Did you ever think you'd see it?
No.
No.
It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
You know, it's what you dream of, isn't it?
Well, it's unique, isn't it? It's the first time we wanted to be here, didn't we? So
we did, yeah. And we've got to support the Leeds Rhinos, whether it's men or women. So yeah, you've got to support your team.
Or disability or wheelchair.
Exactly, yeah.
In a repeat of last year's Women's Challenge Cup final, a change in venue didn't bring a change in fortune for the Leeds Rhinos. St Helens victorious once again, but Caitlin Beavers can lay claim to the try of the match.
The bigger picture is we've just played at Wembley, we've just made history. This is things that little girls are dreaming of. We walked through and walked to get our medals, and there were so many young girls and they were ecstatic. So there's so much more to take out of it than a win or a loss, so I'm very proud that I were a part of the occasion today.
After an exciting men's final won by a golden point drop goal from Lee, the day finished with more drama in the 1895 Cup final, contested by teams below Super League. It was Halifax who had one hand on the trophy, thanks largely to the accurate kicking of Frenchman Louis Geoffrey. But when the final hooter sounded, the ball was in Batley's possession. They had no choice but to keep it moving. What followed has been described by some as the greatest try ever scored at Wembley.
Last play, Hooley's there, he wants it. Hooley keeps it going there. What a try! Unbelievable finish.
However, Luke Hooley needed to land his conversion to take the game to extra time. He missed.
And Halifax celebrate.
So what better way for Halifax to celebrate their 150th anniversary than with victory here at Wembley in the 1895 Cup final. So it was a day of pain, pride and passion, memories and history made down at Wembley Stadium. Well, elsewhere, Rotherham looked set for their first championship win of the season until a bizarre 3-minute spell changed the game. In the 48th minute, Fred Onyedinma's diving header put the Millers 2-0 up against Blackburn. He was then booked for celebrating with the fans. A minute later, he waved an imaginary card after being fouled, which the referees are now clamping down on, and he was shown a second yellow and sent off. Rotherham drew the game 2-2. Barnsley had to settle for a point against Bristol Rovers. Nicky Cadden put them ahead in style early on, but after peppering the Barnsley goal for most of the second half, Rovers finally found a way past Barnsley keeper Liam Roberts. Bradford City are up and running in League Two after coming from behind to beat Colchester, and Nigel Clough described Mansfield Town's 3-0 win over Morecambe as the perfect result. Davis Keeler-Dunn's strike was sandwiched in between a brace from Lucas Akins at the One Call Stadium. And that is all your weekend sport.
Zero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Well, let's head back to Whitby now and join our Kerry, who spent the day enjoying watching the regatta races, despite the challenges thrown at them by the conditions.
Yes, she's been putting the brolly to good use today. Whitby had the best of the weather yesterday, I think, didn't it, Kerry? Enjoying being out there in the rain?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday for the Red Hours, it was the best of the conditions, drier and brighter. But yeah, when I saw that forecast on Friday, when we were talking about the 3-day event, I was like, oh my goodness, it's rained pretty much all day here, but it hasn't stopped anybody having any fun. And particularly for the rowers, actually. I know the spectators, the rain isn't great, but actually the rain hasn't been a bother. It's actually helped with the calm waters. So great rivalry between these two teams here in Whitby. And here, hopefully, you can see the end of one of those races today. The over 40s putting their backs into it. And that time, the Blues won on that race in particular. But this rivalry here in Whitby is really one of the highlights of the overall regatta over the last 3 days. And Michael Billington, well, he wanted to find out a little bit more about it, so he went right there to stick his oar in.
With a boathouse looking over Whitby Harbour, there's a workout before these rowers even hit the water. And with fierce competition right on their doorstep, the attitude in training is go hard or go home.
Right, itchy then. 1, 2, 3.
Looking around today, there's lots of red tops, but I can also see lots of blue tops as well. Your neighbours and your biggest rivals.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Next door neighbours and friends on practice nights, but each other's enemies, I suppose, on race days.
And you really take it seriously.
We do, yeah, considering we're only 3 clubs that compete together. We compete with Scarborough Rowing Club as well. But we come together and it's really competitive on race days, and yeah, everyone gets really into it.
All right, come on, back together.
In fact, in Whitby, the rowing rivalries run deep. They say blood is thicker than water, but when they step into their boats, even family loyalties are divided.
Let's work together, teamwork.
My mum's family were Fisher Lads, that's the club next door. My dad's family were Friendship, and obviously it's both rowing clubs together. They met through rowing, they got married, you know, and then it's just in my blood, and that's what it's like. And it's in your heart as well. I'm the eldest lady to ever win the ladies senior.
But don't feel it, evidently.
No. They're keeping me young.
And there's little wonder when some of the members here are less than 10 years old.
And again, come on, 1, 2.
I get to connect with my friends in a special way, and I can get competitive.
Well, it looks exhausting though.
Once you get used to it, it doesn't like hurt, but us children have just like started. I was like, I want to do that because it looks very easy, and then I started doing it. I was really scared to get on the boat for the first time. When I got the hang of it, it was super, super fun.
Do you think you'll be a champion one day?
I hope so.
Whitby Regatta marks the end of a summer of racing, another season drawing to a close for a club with a history spanning almost 1.5 centuries.
Founded in 1879, it was actually a breakaway from an older club, and been going ever since, sort of thing. Started off with 2 boats, got 6 now. That one there's 30 years old this year, and when it first came, nobody could believe how good it was. We launched it the day before a race, and Crew actually won in it by about 10 lengths, and been fighting over it ever since.
Right, big now, come on, 1, big, 2, big.
It's absolutely brilliant, and it's sort of in my blood.
It's so special to see all of the families involved in it that we never want it to end.
Yes, they've been totting up the points over the last 3 days. It's the end of season here now at Whitby Regatta during the course of the last 3 days. And I'm here with Amy from the Friendship, and also Dev, thank you for coming to speak to us, from the Fishermen. So how did it go? Who won?
It was a good regatta. We won the trophies this year.
Yeah.
So it was the ladies, the men's and the overall.
Yeah.
So it's been a good season for the Blues.
You're very happy about it?
Absolutely delighted.
And what about this rivalry then?
Rowing's a very passionate sport, but you can still be passionate and friendly, I like to think.
So you're real chums, really?
Maybe not chums, but yeah, it's friendly. It's friendly.
It's a really big deal here, isn't it, in Whitby, this regatta, especially Monday, especially for the locals.
This is it. We were just chatting off camera earlier, and it really is like Christmas Day. When you're a kid growing up in Whitby, you look forward to Christmas and regatta. They're the two that we all look forward to.
Yeah, I love it. Just to see the joy in your faces when you start talking about it. Now, Amy, you were just saying that the kids had a really good time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've heard from lots of the kids already. Amazing feedback. They've all enjoyed themselves, and that's the main thing. It obviously means we're doing something right, so yeah.
And today, for me, just felt a bit of a privilege to be here today, because it is really about the Whitby people today. Everyone comes to see what's going on over the last couple of days, and this day is really for you, isn't it?
It is. It's lovely to get all the families down, all the old members down. You get people coming from all over just to come and see Whitby Regatta, and it's such an atmosphere down here, especially with the rowing. Everyone has fun.
Yeah, and then tonight it's big celebration time. Definitely, I know they've got plenty of plans over the next few hours or so. Definitely more fun to come, you guys.
Kerry, you've certainly given us a flavour of the event there today, but what about yourself? Have you managed to have some fun?
I've had a massive, massive box of chips, and it was absolutely brilliant. And despite the rain all day, I would come to Whitby any day. I absolutely love it. But unfortunately, the weather's getting a little bit better over the next few days.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Yes, for much of today, across the whole region and also here in Whitby, we have not been blessed with the best of weather. For most of it has been cloudy and wet with outbreaks of rain. And do you know what? As we head through into the next couple of days, it gets better. The showers will ease, it will start to settle down and conditions will warm up. It will feel warmer with a better dose of sunshine. So we've basically got that low pressure over us at the moment. That moves north and eastwards. It allows for an area of high pressure to develop to the north of us for a couple of days. But towards the end of the week, you can see this area of low pressure just nudging in from the south and west, and coupled with some fairly humid air from the continent, we could see some heavy downpours by Friday. But between now and then, we're not doing too badly at all. And overnight tonight, we do see those showers spiralling across northern parts of the region over the next few hours or so. There's still a risk of some heavy downpours, but by the end of the night, many of us will be dry with clear spells, a bit of mist and murk over the hills, and temperatures very similar to what we've been used to over previous nights. So as we head into tomorrow, there is sun times 5:44 and 8:36. And for tomorrow, so much better than today. There is still a risk of a shower. It still could be heavy, but many places will be drier and then will be brighter. And in the sunshine, it will start to feel quite a bit warmer. As we head into Wednesday, similar to tomorrow, but fewer showers. So some good sunny spells, feeling quite nice and warm in the sunshine. And so for Wednesday and Thursday, we stay with that settled story and feeling warmer in the sunny spells. But we do need to keep an eye out on Friday. It could all go wrong again by the weekend.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
So yeah, it was wet for Whitby Regatta itself, but over the next few days, whatever you're up to, wherever you're holidaying, it does look a little bit better for sure.
Oh, Kerry, thanks very much. That is some good news. I do love Whitby, but I've never been to the regatta, but I certainly got a good flavour for it.
I'd love to go. It looks great, doesn't it? That's all from us. We've had a great time in Whitby. So from Sally and from Kerry and from the whole calendar team, good night. We'll leave you with these pictures. Good night.